There are moments in life when everything feels empty, when your pockets are light, your future uncertain, and your dreams seem to be locked behind the doors of circumstance. You look around and it feels like the whole world is moving ahead. Everyone driving faster, living brighter, smiling wider, while you're standing still, wondering if you'll ever catch up. But here's the truth. You are not poor. You are not poor because wealth isn't only about what fills your hands. It's about what fills your heart, your mind, and your spirit. Michael Sandel once said, "The true measure of worth is not in possession, but in purpose." And in a world obsessed with more money, more fame, more likes, more approval, the real strength lies in being grateful for what can't be taken away. So today, I want to tell you something the world will never remind you of. You are already rich, in the power to endure, to rise, to love, and to dream again, even when everything else is gone. This is not a speech about money. This is a speech about value, about understanding that what makes you truly wealthy is not what you own, but what you become when life strips everything away. So if you're sitting there right now thinking you've lost it all, remember, you haven't lost yourself. And that is everything. The illusion of poverty. Poverty is not always about the absence of things. Sometimes, it's about the absence of perspective. When we say, "I'm poor," what we often mean is, "I don't have what others have." But that's not poverty, that's comparison. And comparison is the silent thief of gratitude. Michael Sandel reminds us that societies fall apart not because they lack wealth, but because they forget the moral meaning of success. We have begun to measure worth by how high we climb, not how deep we grow. Ask yourself, when did we start believing that happiness is something that can be bought? When did we start confusing the price of things with their value? The world today teaches you to chase, to run faster, earn more, post more, prove more. And in that chase, you begin to lose sight of what's already within you. You forget that a quiet morning, a loyal friend, a healthy body, a peaceful sleep, these are riches that money can never buy. You see, the illusion of poverty comes from a mind that believes it's not enough yet. But what if enough isn't something you reach? It's something you decide. Every time you say, "I don't have enough," you weaken your spirit. But every time you whisper, "I am grateful for this moment," you become unstoppable. The poorest man is not the one with empty pockets. It's the one with an empty soul. Because you can rebuild from nothing. But you cannot rise without meaning. There's a story of a man who lost his fortune overnight. He sat in the ruins of what used to be his dream, thinking his life was over. But one day, as he walked through a crowded street, he saw a child laughing, barefoot, holding nothing but a paper kite. And in that moment, he understood something powerful. Joy is not owned, it's felt. So when life takes things away from you, it's not to punish you. It's to remind you what really matters. The richest people are not those who have everything. They are the ones who can smile even when they have nothing left to lose. The richness of nothing. Michael Sandel speaks of moral wealth, a kind of richness that doesn't live in bank accounts, but in the way we treat one another, in the way we understand fairness, humility, and grace. Imagine this. You have nothing but peace in your heart. No fame. No followers, no fancy life. Just peace. Wouldn't that be enough? We live in a generation that's forgotten the beauty of simplicity. We decorate our lives with noise and call it achievement. But silence is where real wealth grows. There is strength in being content, not because you've given up, but because you've realized that chasing endlessly is not living, it's escaping. When you sit with nothing, you start to see everything. When you lose the distractions, you find your direction. When you have nothing left to prove, you begin to live in truth. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop trying to prove your worth multiplies. Because true richness is the ability to walk through storms without losing your calm. To be surrounded by failure, yet still believe in tomorrow. To be unseen by the world, yet deeply known by yourself. Michael Sandel often argues that markets have taught us to value things only in dollars and deals, but the heart values differently. It measures through gratitude, compassion, and integrity. You may not have wealth today. You may not have a big name or a title that impresses others, but if you wake up every morning still willing to try, still believing that life has meaning, then you are wealthier than you think. The one who keeps faith when everything falls apart. The one who can love even after being broken. The one who still dreams when reality says stop. That person is not poor. That person is unstoppable. Remember this. You were born with everything you need. The world may strip you of possessions, but it cannot strip you of purpose. It cannot take your dignity, your courage, or your will to rise again. So never think you're poor, even when you have nothing. Because sometimes, losing everything is the only way to discover what truly matters. Gratitude is the currency of the soul. If money is the currency of the world, then gratitude is the currency of the soul. And unlike money, the more you give, the richer you become. Michael Sandel reminds us that gratitude is not just a feeling. It's a moral act. It is a way of saying, I see the good in what I have, even when it's small. But too many of us are trapped in the illusion that happiness begins after success. We say things like, I'll be happy when I make more money. I'll be peaceful when my life is stable. I'll be grateful when I finally get what I deserve. But that's not how life works. Gratitude isn't the result of achievement. It's the foundation of it. When you start being thankful before you receive, you shift the energy of your life. You stop waiting for blessings and start recognizing them. Gratitude turns scarcity into sufficiency. It transforms I have nothing into I have everything I need to begin. Think about this. Every breath you take is wealth. Every heartbeat is a gift. Every lesson from pain is an investment in your wisdom. So the next time you feel poor, don't count what you've lost. Count what you still have, because gratitude multiplies what remains. You might not own a house, but you have a mind that can dream one. You might not have millions in the bank, but you have strength in your heart. And that's something no one can price. When you live with gratitude, poverty loses its grip. Because the richest person is not the one who gets everything. It's the one who appreciates everything. The strength hidden in struggle. Life will test you. It will strip you down until all that's left is the truth of who you really are. But here's the thing. Struggle doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're being refined. Michael Sandel often speaks about moral courage, the strength to stay grounded in what is right, even when everything around you tempts you to give up or compromise. When you go through hardship, you're not being punished. You're being prepared for greater understanding, for deeper patience, for higher strength. Every difficulty is a lesson in disguise, asking you, will you let this break you or build you? When the world takes everything away, it's asking, what will you do now that you have only yourself? And that's when you discover your greatest wealth, the power of resilience. Resilience is invisible gold. It cannot be bought, but it can rebuild empires. It cannot be seen, but it can move mountains. You might not have much now, but if you have the courage to stand up again, you already possess something priceless, because there is no poverty in those who refuse to surrender. When you fall, get up. When you fail, learn. When you lose, grow. Every setback carries a message. You are stronger than this. The world's definition of success is broken. Look around. We live in a world that celebrates appearances over authenticity, where luxury is worshipped and humility is ignored. Michael Sandel warns about a moral emptiness in modern success, where people chase status instead of purpose. We've been told that the only way to prove our worth is to win, even if it means losing our peace. But real success isn't about being above others. It's about becoming better than you were yesterday. The richest hearts are the ones that stay kind even when the world is cruel. The most powerful minds are the ones that choose peace over pride. Success without meaning is poverty in disguise, because a life full of things but empty of purpose is not wealth. It's waste. So redefine what success means to you. Let it mean honesty. Let it mean compassion. Let it mean peace of mind. Because the world may not notice your quiet victories, but your soul will. And that's where true fulfillment begins. When you have nothing, you have freedom. Strange as it sounds, when you have nothing, you're free. You're free from the fear of losing. Free from the pressure of pretending. Free from the weight of comparison. Michael Sandel often speaks about dignity, the value that can never be taken away, no matter how low your circumstances. When you have nothing, you learn to see everything differently. You start noticing beauty in small things, sunlight on your face, laughter with a friend, peace in solitude. You realize that happiness was never hiding in material things. It was always inside your awareness. Freedom is not about having everything. It's about needing less. It's about being able to say, even if I lose it all, I'll still be me. So never fear losing things. Fear losing yourself, because that's the one form of poverty no one recovers from. When you stop clinging to what's temporary, you finally begin to touch what's eternal. Be wealthy in spirit. The poorest body can still hold the richest spirit, and the richest man can still be empty inside. True wealth is invisible. It's in your kindness, your patience, your courage, your love. It's in the way you speak life into others when they're broken. It's in the way you rise quietly after every fall. Michael Sandel teaches that the highest form of wealth is moral, the kind that lifts others, not just yourself. So be wealthy in spirit. Let your generosity be your gold. Let your wisdom be your fortune. Let your compassion be your empire. Because long after money fades and fame disappears, it's your spirit that remains. You were never poor. So, if you're sitting in darkness right now, thinking life has forgotten you, I want you to remember this. You were never poor. You were born with a mind that can imagine, a heart that can love, a soul that can endure, and that makes you rich beyond measure. The world will keep telling you you're not enough, but every time you stand back up, you prove that you are. Never think you're poor, even when you have nothing. Because sometimes, having nothing is what allows you to discover everything.